Hey, before we jump in, if you want to see more deep dives like this, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button for @BrandTechAuth. Okay, let's get right to it. We need to talk about one of the biggest headaches in AI art. You know the feeling, right? You spend hours getting a character just right, and then in the very next image, they're a completely different person. So frustrating. Well, stick with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to lock that character in for good and save yourself a ton of time.
So, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll dig into the problem itself, what I'm calling the AI character conundrum. Then we'll look at the solution, OpenArt, and the 3 different ways you can get consistency. After that, I've got a killer pro tip for mastering your character. Then we'll turn those images into video. And finally, we'll talk about why this gives you a serious creator's edge.
All right, let's kick things off. Section 1, the AI character conundrum. The big question here is why? Why is it so ridiculously hard to get an AI to remember a character's face from one shot to the next? Let's break it down.
I mean, it is the worst feeling. It's a total creative buzzkill. You finally get that perfect render, the one that is exactly what you had in your head. But the moment you try a new pose, a new background, poof, gone. It's a different person. And trust me, it's not just you. This is something every single AI creator struggles with.
And look, the first thing you need to know is this isn't your fault. It's a fundamental technical problem in AI, and it has a name: the spatial-temporal trade-off. Sounds complicated, but it's pretty simple. Spatial just means the look, the face, the clothes, everything in a single picture. Temporal is the motion between the pictures. And here's the problem: they're fighting each other. If you crank up the consistency to keep the look perfect, the motion gets all weird and choppy. But if you focus on making the motion smooth, the character's face starts to, well, melt. It's a constant battle.
So, with a problem like that, how do we even begin to solve it? Well, that brings us right to Section 2, introducing OpenArt. This isn't just another image generator, it's a platform built specifically to be a one-stop shop that tackles this consistency problem head-on.
So why this tool? Because it's a whole creative suite. You're not just getting image creation. You're getting workflows designed from the ground up for consistent characters. You've got amazing posing tools for total control. And, this is the real game changer, it's all integrated with an image-to-video model. It's how all these features work together that makes it so powerful.
And that brings us to the real meat of this explainer. Section 3, the 3 paths to consistency. Because OpenArt gets that not every project is the same, it gives you different ways to tackle this, so you can pick the one that's perfect for what you're trying to do.
Check this out. It breaks down perfectly into 3 options. First up, from text. This is your low-effort, super-fast option for just banging out new ideas. Then you have from a single image. Honestly, this is the sweet spot for most of us. You give it one good reference image and the AI just runs with it. And finally, from multiple images. This is the high-effort, max control route where you train a custom mini model of your character, Allura, for insane detail and accuracy. Just to show you how easy it is, let's look at that single image workflow. It's literally 4 steps. You upload your picture, you give your character a name, you let OpenArt do its thing and train the model, and that's it. You're ready to start dropping that character into any scene you can imagine just using simple text.
Okay, so your character's looking good, but what about when the AI gets a little stuck on one detail? Let's move on to Section 4, mastering your character. I've got a pro tip for you that's going to save you from a major headache.
This quote from a Reddit user just perfectly captures it. I bet you've seen this. The AI sees your character in a black top in the reference photo, and suddenly it decides that black top is now a permanent part of their body. The clothing gets baked in, and it doesn't matter what you ask for, it refuses to change it.
So what's the fix? You're not going to believe how simple it is. It's literally one button. Okay, so in the settings for your character, you're going to see a little toggle that says Preserve Features. Now, by default, that thing is on, and that's the culprit. All you have to do is just flip it off. That's it. This tells the AI, hey, lock onto the face, but feel free to change the clothes based on what I'm asking for. Seriously, it's a total game changer.
But wait, there's one last part to this tip. After you turn off Preserve Features, you want to make sure the character reference weight is still set pretty high, somewhere around 0.8 or 0.9. This basically tells the AI, be super strict about the face, but you have my permission to play around with the outfit. It's the perfect balance of control and flexibility.
All right, now for the part we've all been waiting for. This is the big payoff. You've got your consistent character, you know how to control their look. Now it's time to make them move. Welcome to Section 5, from image to video. This is where it all comes together. This is what it's all about, right? Taking that perfect, static image and breathing life into it, turning it into a real piece of a story. And what's so cool is that because you solved the consistency problem first, you've already done most of the hard work to get a great-looking AI video.
And the process? It's ridiculously smooth. You get your image looking perfect, and then you just hit the Image to Video button. Bam! OpenArt sends it straight over to the Kling AI, all loaded up and ready. You just type in what you want to happen, like camera orbits around them, and hit Generate. This kind of integrated workflow saves an unbelievable amount of time.
Okay, let's step back for a second and think about what this all means. Section 6, the creator's edge. Why is solving this one problem, character consistency, such a big deal for the future of storytelling?
Well, it really boils down to 3 huge advantages. First, you get consistency, which is just the bedrock of any narrative. Second, you get control. With all these settings, you're not just crossing your fingers, you're actually directing the AI. And third, you get efficiency. This smooth workflow means you spend more time creating and less time fighting with the technology.
When you put all that together, you realize this is more than just a cool feature. We are taking the first real steps into true AI filmmaking. These tools are finally giving us director-level control. You're not just a prompter anymore. You're a director, you're a cinematographer, you're a storyteller. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. For so long, the biggest technical barrier to telling stories with AI has been keeping our characters consistent. But now, that barrier is crumbling. The technology is no longer the main limitation. The only thing holding us back now is our own imagination. So the real question is, what stories are you going to tell?